Hi everyone, so this video I'm going to be talking about Inktober. I haven't really done an overview Inktober video before, but if you haven't heard of Inktober, it was an event created by Jake Parker. I would highly recommend you go check out his YouTube channel and his Instagram. His videos are really interesting to watch. There's a lot of topic videos about art and being an artist and all different kinds of stuff like that. And his art is really cool as well. So Jake Parker created Inktober, and basically this is a month-long event in October that involves basically making a piece of art with ink every day for the month of October. Of course, you don't have to do every single day. You can do once a week or every other day, or just do a couple pieces of ink when you have time, or a couple pieces of art using ink when you have the time. And this year, I want to try to do it every day. My goal is to do it every day, but I need to be realistic and know that I won't be able to do every day. And some days are just going to be extremely simple doodles, but I'm going to try to do something. Even if it's the simplest thing in the world, I want to do some kind of ink thing every day for October. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it if I can't, because I'm in school right now for art. And all my creativity is kind of exhausted through that. So I don't have much creative juice left for Inktober. Because I don't want to just do studies and stuff for Inktober. I want to actually do some cute little doodles. Mine are just going to be pretty simple doodles. But this video is going to be just a few tips if you're considering doing Inktober. You've probably heard a lot of these before, but in case you haven't, I just want to give you some helpful advice that can make you be successful. And basically the first tip is to set yourself up for success. I guess you can try to aim high so that you'll land a little bit higher, but also don't be disappointed in yourself if you can't maintain every single day. Sometimes it's just not realistic to do a daily challenge, especially if you're really busy in your life. And sometimes just finding time when you can to do something for Inktober can be fulfilling. So maybe you chip away at a piece every day for a week and you post 4 illustrations for Inktober. So try to set yourself up for success in the sense that you don't get your hopes up and you kind of set out your expectations for yourself, sort of thing. So either have a really high goal so that you'll meet, you might land a bit higher, or have a realistic goal so that you don't end up disappointing yourself. That might actually be a better idea. But what I'm doing is planning to do every single day, so that maybe I'll end up getting more done than if I plan to do it every week, if that makes sense. The second tip would be to definitely decide what prompts you're going to use, because something that I always struggle with Inktober is figuring out what to draw and following the official art prompts. There's an official Inktober prompt list that is made by Jake Parker, so you can follow that, or you can create your own list of prompts, a list of things that inspire you to draw. I made my own list of prompts, just a bunch of random phrases, words, and characters that inspire me so that I'm more likely to actually create a little doodle every day. So I have things like frog, snail, garden gnome. I think there's one that's fish wearing a hat. Just a bunch of little silly gardeny, woodsy sort of prompts, because that's what I've been into lately, just because fall's coming and I think it kind of fits well with the theme. And it's the kind of subjects that I really enjoy drawing. So that's tip 2, is to follow a prompt list. I haven't really done this before, but I'm going to try it this year, and already it kind of makes me feel a bit better knowing that I know what to draw each day, or I have some sort of starting point, because in the past I just sit down and think, what do I draw? I have nothing to go off of. Do I just draw a pumpkin? What do I do? And it's hard to get out of your comfort zone. Or not really get out of your comfort zone. It's hard to think of something unique when you don't have a starting point. So a prompt list would really help. Another tip I have would be to sketch a couple of things in advance when you have time. I don't think that sketching ahead of time is cheating. It's not really about that. You can't really cheat. As long as you're making art, you're not cheating. there's no rules really. Like, you can interpret it how you want to interpret it. And if you want to create some sketches ahead of time so that you're actually able to ink something every day, then go ahead and do that. A lot of artists sketch ahead of time, and I don't see anything wrong with that unless you personally want to do only one drawing in that day, like you only want that drawing to be made in that day, then that's your own personal challenge. But don't feel like you can't plan ahead and sketch ahead, because that also sets yourself up for success. The more planning you do, the easier of a time you'll have actually completing the challenge. And I would also recommend doing little thumbnails in the corner, working out your composition before you do the sketch. I tried to, for the frog one that you'll see in this video, do like a little thumbnail in the corner, and then the next one I didn't do a thumbnail, and I regretted it, and I struggled with it way more than the frog one. And these are just extremely loose, quick sketches that are just the guidelines for where the ink will go. They're not very resolved or very good at all. I'm hoping most of the heavy lifting will be done by the ink, so these are just like quick planning sketches for the ink. I think I just planned out a couple days just so I'd have an easier time doing Inktober, because I really don't think I'm going to do every day. I really want to, but I don't. I need to think realistically and not expect too much of myself. And if I can't, like I said before, I'm just going to do simple doodles or maybe even little comics. Who knows what will happen? Or maybe I'll just do a page full of ink sketches. Who knows? Another tip that can kind of help you have fun with Inktober is to really experiment with your media. And by that, I mean maybe actually get real ink and brushes or nibs, and like use pen and ink or brush and ink to do your drawings. I want to do this. It's just so hard to clean up. I don't know if I will go through with using like actual pen and ink, because I've been having a little bit more experience using that lately, and I definitely want to get better at it, because it's not something I'm really proficient in at all. And Inktober is always a good way to get better with your line quality when it comes to inking, because you can't erase ink, so every mark has to count, and it can take a really long time to build up your confident lines. So if you kind of like try something new and use that for the entire month, you might find that you are really good at it by the end, or you've just improved a lot with that sort of media or media. I don't know which one that would be. Another tip is to keep all the Inktober stuff in the same place. I like to designate a sketchbook for Inktober, or like a section of my sketchbook. I think one year I had a really, really tiny one and I did one on each page. This year I have a square white sketchbook that I got from a store called Muji, and it's kind of like thicker paper. It seems like it'll work with ink. I have to use the like you know how when you open a book, there's one page that's a different color from the rest of the pages? I have to use that as one of the pages, because there's just under 31 pages if I don't use the little inserts, so I have to use them. And that's okay, because it's kind of nice and smooth paper. I think it'll be fine. Also, another tip I would have is to post your Inktober stuff on Instagram and use the hashtag, because especially near the beginning, because at the beginning of Inktober, a lot of people are paying attention to the hashtags, and it's like a nice fresh challenge, and you'll get a lot of traffic on your posts if you kind of like join in on the hype sort of thing. And you can also be inspired by other people to continue on your Inktober journey or challenge. Journey sounds really cheesy. I find that near the end of October, it kind of gets less popular, because near the beginning, everyone's really excited, and by the end, I think a lot of people, like me, are kind of sick of it or have given up, because I did that a lot too. Sometimes you just can't keep up with it, and that's okay. Try not to be too hard on yourself if you can't, because it is a challenge. It's called a challenge for a reason. So I hope that you found this video helpful in terms of Inktober, and that you'll consider giving it a try, even if it's just one drawing. It's kind of fun to be part of the whole community of people that are all really excited to make some fall-inspired drawings with ink. It doesn't have to be fall-inspired, but like that seems to be a big trend. It can be any subject matter. So basically, try to set yourself up for success. Don't be afraid to like plan ahead, because I don't consider that cheating at all. Try to keep everything in one place. Maybe experiment with your media. Choose a prompt list, and don't be hard on yourself if you can't do it. Try to have realistic expectations, but also try to challenge yourself if that's what you want to get out of this, because it is a challenge. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got something from it, and I'll see you in my next video.